Hey, welcome back to the final installment of the April 2021 plant tour. So what we are looking at here is our Phalaenopsis small leaves. Now the reason that I called her small leaves is if you see the leaf over there to the back and the right, that leaf is actually one of the larger leaves that she produced when she was still recovering. Prior to that, she was half that size. And as we can see, she is now growing larger and larger leaves. So I'm waiting for her to bloom so I can give her a name, because I honestly do not remember what she looked like or what she is. She's one of the originals that I bought when we first moved into the house in 2019. Up here in the front is our Phalaenopsis Chain Zen Diamond, I believe. Yes, Diamond number A07842. I'm pretty sure that's a nursery hybrid, but she is recovering. She is the one that had the purple and the kind of creamy colored flowers that we cut off recently, but she is working on a new leaf here, so that's good news. And she's settled into her pot. As you can see, she's got a new root growing right here, trying to come out of the side, and if it does, we'll let it. And then let's just go back here. We have another one. I call her Spots. She is a white Phalaenopsis with kind of a dark pink spotting around her, similar to the Phalaenopsis Cleopatra, but probably not that. But this leaf right here, she was developing when she initially had her spike back here. Phalaenopsis will stop growing their leaves once they're concentrating on that spike. So I doubt this leaf is going to get any bigger, but as you can see, she's got this new leaf growing here, and she's got roots, new roots growing, as well as roots in the pot, right, all down in there. And then in front of her, we have a rescue Phalaenopsis that came in a pot of 3, and she is now working on her new leaf there. It is kind of growing a little wanky. I don't know if it's because the grow light is a little further back, if you can kind of see my hand shadow there. But we'll just let her do her thing. I don't see any new leaves forming in there quite yet, but the fact that she is growing that leaf is a good sign of recovery, and she does have a few roots. I'm not moving her to show you just because she is still settling in and trying to recover. And then on this side over here in the back, we'll get to the front of the shelf in a second, but back here we have our, I call her Pinky, light purple with a pink-ish look and a deep purple look. But she is growing this new leaf, and it is so much larger. Look how much wider it is than this one here. See how thin this one is? And this one is kind of nice and round and fat. So she too has some roots in the pot. And then here we have another one of our rescue Phalaenopsis from Lowe's, came out of the same pot. She just recently did this growth here, which is a little thinner and expected because of the stress. But she is producing another one back here, along with, we have the roots going in there. She's got roots there, and then if we look back here, she's got an aerial root and another root going in. So that's all good news. That means she's on the road to recovery. Next to her, we have the Phalaenopsis Pure Moon, and it is Pixi, which is a Phalaenopsis Timothy Christopher crossed with Phalaenopsis Brother Lawrence. It's kind of a yellowish, pale yellow with a green lip in there. It's really pretty, but she's been struggling since I got her. I repotted her in, let's see, this pot here. She got repotted in April of last year. So she's literally been in this pot for a year and has just recently decided to do growing. So recently she developed this leaf here, and now she's working on this leaf. Prior to that, let's just take her out of the pot. Prior to that, all she had, guys, was those 2 leaves at the bottom and the one on the right over here. And now she's got some new root growth there, and she's finally putting some roots in the pot. So a year later, we are getting growth. Not complaining. Patience is the key with orchids. So here we have our deep TPS Winter Cords Mendenhall. At least that's what it was sold as, not sure. But let's look at this leaf here. See how nice and wide it is? And then here are her new leaf growths. Again, expected just because of the stress. She kind of lost almost all of her leaves and dropped her root system. And now she is recovering. If you can see all the roots in there now. So if she does try to bloom this year, I will cut the spike just to kind of let her continue to recover. Here we have another Phalaenopsis that looked absolutely great when I got her. I brought her home and she quickly went downhill and did this. So her flowers they're kind of a creamy white color, and they have a really deep burgundy lip. And this is the one when we repotted, we realized it was a mama and a keiki. At first I wasn't sure if it was two separate plants in the same pot because they each had a spike. But after pulling her out of the pot, she is one plant. One of these is the mama, the other one is the baby. Not sure which is which. Or it just could be two keikis that grew together that they took off of the mama plant and put in the same pot. Either way, she is growing a new leaf on this right side. She's got new roots growing on both. And then this one here in the front isn't doing much. I don't see any new leaf growth or anything like that. But the fact that she is producing roots is a good sign. So we'll just leave her be. And these leaves are starting to get a little more firm. I guess there's healthier roots at the bottom. Again, I don't want to pull her out too much and disturb. And just as a FYI, when your leaves get crinkly and leathery looking like this, even when the plant plumps up a little bit more like this one here, like these are pretty firm, it's always going to have this leathery look to it, and they're always going to be just drooped like that because the structure is just not strong enough to straighten it back out. So, but as long as it stays green and healthy and it continues to feed the plant. And then back here, we'll get to this one in the front in a second, but back here we have, I call this one Pink Lip. Again, it's a white Phalaenopsis. It's a miniature, but I really think it's a medium size once it gets going, with a pink lip. Then we have our Phalaenopsis violacea crossed back to sibling. And as we can see, she has just finished off that leaf to the right. And if you look really close, she is now growing another leaf. And she's got some new roots coming down into the pot. And if we turn her around, you can see the roots right there. So the good thing about Phalaenopsis is they can bloom at a young age. So I'm hoping to get a bloom from her within the year. And then here we have the beautiful No ID. I have not named her yet. She's been in bloom for about 2 months. Again, one I've had since 2019. If somebody wants to name her, leave it in the comments down below, or if you have an ID for her, because I have tried, and there's some that are similar, but there's so many differences. And with her being a hybrid, probably never be able to really ID her, but she is so pretty. So very pretty. All right, so let me move some of this other way. So these are the 3 African violet propagations that we are working on, just waiting on them to bloom. They should be probably blooming in a few months. And then what I just moved out of the way is our Dendrobium Second Love. It is a compact miniature dendrobium, so that'll be good. And she is working on a new growth here and has plenty of roots going on. Let's just move that out the way. And then here we have the Hariela Retro. I can't ever say that, but that's what he is. Got lots and lots of new growth going, lots of roots going down in there. I did move it. I had it in a glass container with the rocks at the bottom, but it was growing algae. So I just kind of moved it. Oops. I just kind of moved it to kind of help prevent that a little bit better. Here we have our Cattleya, Brassolalia Cattleya, sorry, Willanette Wong, the best, crossed with Brassolalia Cattleya Onse Mendenhall. And this one here is another one that can't decide if it wants to be a bifoliate or monofoliate. because we have monofoliate and bifoliate on here. This is also the Cattleya seedling that decided to create a keiki, which is very unusual on a Cattleya. You see it more on dendrobiums or Phalaenopsis. But she did decide to make a keiki, which never produced anything except for this root right here. But she does have some offspring here. So we have this new growth that she developed, this new growth back here that she developed, and we are working on the latest new growth here, which will be the largest. And if we just zoom in just a wee bit, do you see it? Do you see it? Yes, we have another new growth. And then potentially, let's move her around real quick. Potentially we have another new growth there. I doubt that one's going to do anything. It's been like that for about a month now, but you know, Cattleyas are surprising. They sometimes will just jump back into growth when you're least expecting it. All right, and then here we have our Brassocatleya hippodamia. That is doing really, really well. I got this from Orchids Limited, I think. Let me just look real quick. Yeah, from Orchids Limited here. Really great company. This came so well packaged. It was repotted in fresh media when I got it, so I had no need to repot the orchid anytime soon. And if you want to see, just like you can kind of tug a little bit on it, and you see she comes up in the pot. But again, not sure where the new growth is. I know this is a new growth, so I'm expecting some growth there. And possibly back here, we might see some new growth going on in one of these back here. But she's doing really well, adjusting really well into my home. Again, because this is fresh media, she can stay in there for the next 2 years or until she outgrows the pot. And next to her, we have our Brassocatleya Fritz Nicholas Spring Dance. And again, we've got this lovely growth here, and then this latest growth, this one, and then this latest growth. This is going to be a bifoliate because you can kind of see the next leaf coming in there. And at first I thought it was a sheath, and I was like, no, it's a seedling. It's not going to bloom. That's a leaf. And then let's get you over here to a problem. Can you guys see what I'm seeing? Do you guys see that? I don't know if that's salt buildup, if I'm over fertilizing, which I'm only fertilizing this once a month, very weekly, and I'm using distilled water, so I don't know if there's another issue, but I am going to repot her, take her out of the pot, and see what's going on with her. And this is the Cattleya cernua, can't say it anyway, the nodding Surfinites. But yeah, there's a problem with this one, so I'm gonna have to take her out of the pot and see what's going on. Behind her, we have the Phalaenopsis Tadia Little Pretty, crossed with Zumas Pixi. So this one here is has the deep, deep burgundy blooms with the white lacing around it, just absolutely gorgeous. But she is recovering really well. These leaves are starting to firm up. She's working on a new leaf here, and as you can see, she's got lots of new roots coming in. And then our sad state of affairs back here. I'm not going to move her too much, but she is a no ID, again, a 2019. When I potted her in there, she had absolutely no roots, and all she had was that one little leaf that you see right there on the left. Well, now she's producing that new leaf there, and if we just kind of go back here, can you see the roots? I don't know if you can see the roots or not, because like I said, I don't want to move her, but she does have one aerial root, I believe, and then she's got some roots going into the pot. So I tried to move her as little as possible to keep her stable and make sure that she is not going to mess up too much or die. Really interesting to see what she is. And let's just move down here real quick onto the last shelf. This is my largest African violet that I have. So this is the mother of the African violet in the first video with the sporting, the one that has like the little white patterning in the center. And then back there is my Peperomia Metallica, which is not doing much of anything. Then we have another Soft Clouds keiki that is just produced. This is the last leaf that it produced. Now it's working on this one. Back there is another part of the Cattleya with the big white blooms that I don't know if she's going to make it or not. I've just kind of got her sitting on some moss, and I keep it moist, not moist, but damp. And then there's moisture in the bottom of the pot with some rocks. And then here we have another Nepenthes that I've been spraying daily, hoping to keep this new cup growing and developing and hopefully helping me out with any bug issues. Here next to her is a no ID. I call her Baby Pink Cloud because her flowers are such a soft, soft baby pink, but they resemble the soft clouds. And in true soft cloud fashion, if you look right there, her spike was terminal. So she is producing some new roots up in there, and I'm hoping that she produces a keiki soon because her blooms are absolutely stunning. And the thing with keikis, guys, or baby orchids, especially the Phalaenopsis, is they will bloom a lot quicker than a seedling Phalaenopsis just because they're an exact clone of the mom. So they're mature. They just kind of have to build up their reserves. And last but not least is our African Violet, and this is the white one that is currently not in bloom because I did cut her back to let her rest. But I was looking in here the other day, and I believe we may have some blooms coming off of right in there. So we'll just have to wait and see. But again, they don't take that long to kind of get rested and then start blooming again. It's just I like to give mine a rest every once in a while, especially if they've been blooming for a while. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any thoughts on how to help any of my strugglers, or if you have some plants that you want to have a video on and go in a little more detail, just let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to give this a like, and we will see you on the next one.